Welcome to Colorado Homes and Lifestyles, where style comes home. This recording is brought to you by Aftersight, and it is intended to be used solely by individuals who are blind or have low vision.
Thank you for joining us for the March 2020 issue of the Colorado Homes and Lifestyles magazine, Colorado's Design Masters 2020 Circle of Excellence. My name is Jerry Gingras. Welcome, Matt, from the editor, The Faces of Excellence. None of us here at Colorado Homes and Lifestyles takes excellence lightly, so it is safe to say that each year in March when we announce our Circle of Excellence winners, we consider it a big deal. This award is our way of saying thank you for your many years of amazing work, for your contributions to upping the design landscape of Colorado, and for being a truly swell citizen. So we bow and curtsy and tip our stylish hats to the class of 2020. Carolyn Morris and Carlos Alvarez, Robin Scott, Elizabeth Aiello, Troy Shrimp, and Brant Vanderbosch. Meet these architects and designers and experience a sampling of their work, beginning on page 64. Also in this issue, our focus on excellence continues as we shine a spotlight on furniture throughout the house. Our market editor, Eliza Carlson, is a master of discovering the stunning from Colorado and around the globe. For photographic excellence, we look to Jennifer Olson, our go-to portrait person. Olson's lens reveals the essence of her subjects, and we are always grateful when she focuses on our award winners throughout the year. Finally, I thank our amazing art director, Eleanor Williamson, who puts up with my opinionated self and brings her truly brilliant design skills to every page. Happy March. Kate Myers, Editor-in-Chief. What I Love. On the Avenue Rice Goddess from our house, Richard Ginori plates at the White Peacock and a Leoba Aman paper lady from Bloom, who is now hanging in my home. A walk through Cherry Creek. Every once in a while, I leave work early to visit my friend Anushka Paschal at Bloom, 300 University Boulevard in Cherry Creek, where I am tempted by everything: art, pillows, jewelry, and flowers from around the world. My husband and I couldn't resist this paper female above at right, $750. There are multiple one-of-a-kind ladies throughout the store by Leoba Aman. On a recent afternoon, I also stopped in at our house, 171 Clayton Lane, where I immediately purchased a large piece of art, an old silk screen, $199 off the wall. I was excited about a multitude of well-priced accessories, including the Rice Goddess above at left, 9.5 inches wide by 59 inches high, $135. Farther on, I dropped in at White Peacock, 2440 East 3rd Avenue, only to be gobsmacked by these Orient Italiano plates by Richard Ginori, above center. They come in 10 colors and start at $68. Clearly, I need keep my credit card hidden for a while. Worth a splurge. Here, 40 design pros weigh in on what piece of furniture is most deserving of your dough. The Wick dining chair designed by Hable for Hickory Chair is the perfect splurge. Style, personality, and comfort invite longer conversations and fun. And when the patio is calling your name, Royal Botania's Jive dining chair is waiting for you and your cocktail. Liana Bors and Caitlin Mancini of Hoffman Miller. The gorgeous live edge wood and epoxy slabs by Willard Woodworking, whether it's for a dining table, desk, or top bar top. Gina Damore Bowerly and Marilyn Damore of Damore Interiors. The Blade sectional by Thayer Coggin is the ultimate in style and comfort. Cantilevered design and multiple customization options make it the perfect sectional to splurge on this year. Kevin Branham of CAI Designs. Crate and Barrel's 108-inch Monarch rectangular dining table. This solid walnut table with brown and gray blend shiitake finish will allow you to entertain up to 10 friends and relatives with comfort and style. Audrey Moon of Crate and Barrel. A statement accent chair with fun shape. I love the classic shell chair by Wegner with its wide plywood seat that draws your eye. Another favorite is the Hannah armchair from Mui, which has a soft circular form and adds a nice contrast to a more rectilinear sofa. Sherry Goff of HMH Architecture and Interiors. Light fixtures which can serve as both an architectural detail and an art piece. I covet all lighting by Apparatus, especially the Talisman. It's timeless, innovative, and truly unique. Devin Tobin of Do It Design Group. The FlexForm ground piece sofa is beautiful, well-crafted, and ridiculously comfortable. It will become the center of your home. Anna Boogie of Studio Como. Definitely the dining table. It's a place where you spend a lot of time with family and friends. 2 tables we love. Huron table from New Classics. It's handcrafted here in Denver and can be customized for any setting. And the Mensola table from La Testa Studio is a chic blend of wood and metal. It's made to order in Maryland. Jennifer M. Connors of Shanahan Collection. For outdoor spaces, I love 2 deep-seating armchairs and a large coffee table. It's the furniture setup that will get the most use throughout the day. Think morning coffee and evening cocktails. The Danish inspired furniture pieces from Cane Line tie together high-end styling and durable materials, making for perfect outdoor seating year-round. Morgan Houston of Birdsall and Company. We did recently splurge on ourselves with the purchase of a vintage 1950s burled olive wood credenza. Sometimes when you see it, it haunts you. You buy it, and then you figure out where it will go. Stephen Henschel of Mandel Incorporated. In a traditional or classical setting, a settee or chaise lounge by Italian furniture crafter Francesco Molan brings sophisticated grace and elevates the room's decor as its accent piece. Brent Paul of KGA Studio Architects. A great table that starts out as a round for 8 people but has 4 leaves that make room for 24 people. They're best found at an auction or by a good cabinet maker. Catherine Ireland of The Perfect Room. A porch swing. You're never too old to enjoy it, and even if it isn't used, it's a wonderful visual invitation and a cherry-on-top detail to add to a porch or garden. Magnolia porch swings are of great quality and come in a lot of different styles. Troy Shimp of Lifescape, Colorado. Portrait of the Artist. Trina Bumuller. Story by Rebecca Gart. Preserving the moment. From galleries to large-scale installations, Tina Bumuller has forged a path memorializing Colorado's disappearing landscape. In 2019 alone, Denver artist Tina Bumuller presented 4 major installations at public venues throughout Colorado and one abroad, memorializing glaciers, national monuments, and other disappearing natural sanctuaries. I'm not blatantly political, but I definitely touch on what's happening at a certain time, Bumuller says. To record a place is to commit it to more than memory, but to also mark its existence. In this time of diminishing resources and natural spaces, the making of the paintings becomes both a record of and an anthem to the environment. Bumuller's 5 2019 installations, Stations of the Cross, Regis University, Glacier Project, University of Colorado Boulder, and A. Topos Gallery in Venice, Italy, Close Encounters, Art Gym Denver, and This Land, Denver Public Library, all seek to immerse the viewer in the environment she is depicting. They stress an encompassing need to remember and record these places and objects of natural, cultural, and popular distinction, she says. On the gallery side, the abstract oil paintings on wood that have earned Bumuller success and recognition also spring from the natural world. I use natural elements like sticks, branches, water, and sky, not in a traditional landscape sense, but focusing in on a detail of nature and making it the emphasis of the work, in shapes, lines, and patterns, she says. Everything in life is made up of tiny little parts, and you put them together, it becomes something bigger. She uses as many as 40 layers of paint to produce multi-paneled works with vibrant colors, also incorporating shiny varnish and a wax coat. These pieces have become her trademark style, thanks in part to Lodo-based Robuchon Gallery, which has been promoting her art since the 1980s. A big, important theme in my work is the idea of memory. Life is an accumulation of details and stories, and you add them all up and they become experiences, and they become a life, she says. Painting becomes a way of preserving memories. I'm recording these moments with my pen and sketchbook and paintbrush. Putting them down in a concrete form is a way of stretching memory and preserving those moments. Her work, all emanating from a 600-square-foot studio in her Park Hill home, is prominently featured in the lobby of Denver's Four Seasons and the Colorado Convention Center, as well as private homes. With all she produces, Boo Miller has a common goal. I hope the viewer comes away with respect and a feeling of caring for these beautiful facets of nature and icons of a planet in trouble, and feels, as I do, a sense of urgency to protect them. For more of Boo Miller's work, visit Robuchon Gallery, TrineBooMiller.com, or her latest installation at First Congregational Church, UCC, in Boulder. 2020 Circle of Excellence. Ahead of the sustainability curve, before we moved to Colorado and started our firm, we designed a hotel in Spain, Alvarez says. It was such fun because we established this rule that we would resource everything within 20 kilometers, the wood, the stone, Morris adds. In a small town in Spain, there's an iron welder across the street, a woodworker and textile mill down the road. We used the trades all around us. Alvarez. Fast forward to now, and sustainability has become this big thing, but we were instinctively doing that from the get-go. The first big break. There were a group of guys, Brooks, Perry, and Klein, doing development, and one of them asked me if I could design his private residence, Alvarez says. I did, but when I was done, I told him it was awful and asked him if I could design him something I believed in. He said yes. The result was something I was proud of and led to a greater level of projects. Mr. Outside, Mrs. Inside. When Carolyn started getting involved in projects, it was like, wow, there's a cohesive nature between the inside and outside. Everything flows perfectly. Morris adds, for example, architects like glass, and I'll say, let's go inside and see how that's going to function and feel. Architecture and interior design have to go hand in hand. Spanning the globe. Traveling the world is our passion and our inspiration, Morris says. We have passed this passion on to our sons. Sketch artists. Carolyn and I both begin our design process with sketching by hand. It is how we think, Alvarez says. Many meetings consist of me sketching on the spot for clients. It's a great way to design interactively. Architect Brant Vanderbosch, founding principal, Vertical Arts Architecture, Steamboat Springs. Brant Vanderbosch has been drawing and running around in his own world since his Michigan childhood. It was there he grew up, tagging along after his grandfather at the family's 21-acre resort on Christiana Lake. I got to create my own environments in the woods surrounding the lodge, building forts, playing war. He eventually became so adept at drafting that a high school teacher even created a class just for him, in which he got to build models. Then, when I was 15, I started framing houses. Working under a carpenter, I actually framed and roofed a simple house on the property for my mom. After earning degrees in architectural technology and construction management, he went on to gain bachelor's degrees in environmental design and architecture at Ball State University in Indiana. Vanderbosch moved to Colorado at 27, first working in Vail before heading to Steamboat. I was always drawn to places with interesting topography and environments, so early on it was in my head to go out west. In 2005, he founded Vertical Arts, which now has 12 employees, including architects, landscape architects, and interior designers. We wanted to have it all in-house, he says. It just makes for a better project. Though the firm does a lot of custom residential work, its portfolio also includes affordable housing, condo buildings, mixed-use buildings, boutique-style restaurants, commercial buildings, and land planning. It also has a retail shop and a custom furniture fabrication shop that makes everything from furniture to shelving to hoods. Despite the firm's size and breadth of work, Vanderbosch still keeps his own pencil sharp. I do a lot of hands-on design. Maybe I'm not drawing everything out, but I'm working with a team and giving them direction. The goal is to make the best architecture we can, projects that are creative and environmental and special. Weaving the story. I like the storytelling aspect of projects, working with the environment and bringing it all together with multiple disciplines. We go through an envisioning process, asking questions and really being informed on what a client wants. We work with them to fill out a 50-page questionnaire we've developed over the years that helps us gain insight into their thoughts about each space on a property. It helps bring them together to talk about things, and most clients really engage with it. The process allows us to get to know our clients really well. Whether we are having wine with them or just hanging out, we end up becoming a part of their life for, well, it could be 4 or 5 years. Vision-driven. A lot of clients bring things to the table. At some point, we have to start organizing everything into a program and do a site analysis. Where do they love to be on the site? On the front one of our envisioning packets, I have a picture of a client with his hands out, basically showing, this is the view I want. He and his wife had a little spot on top of a hill where they drank wine. Before they even built anything, they had a little bench up there with a fire pit, and they said, we want to be right here. There is no I in team. I once read a book called E-Myth. It talks about how in every business you really need to have an entrepreneur, a manager, and a technician. One person cannot be all three. That has helped me build this firm. We have a very good technician and architect. I hired a great office manager, and I knew that I could work on design and sales and overall run the firm. The people around me are really good at the things I am not as good at. They complement my strengths. That's why it's Vertical Arts, not Vanderbosch Architects. It's about the team and what they can bring to the table. Robin Scott, interior designer. Founder, Robin Scott Interiors, Aspen. I always ask clients, if you were describing your ideal space, how would you want it to feel? Robin Scott says, because that feeling is something most clients can't get to on their own. And creating a feeling is what Robin Scott is all about. Lighting is a huge influence on how a space feels, but colors matter too. Which colors does a client love or hate? As does lifestyle, like whether clients have pets or grandkids. I also incorporate a concept called architecture, which means bringing everything into the selection process, responding to the outside, and really creating a bridge between the architecture and the interior. As a child, Scott grew up in Florida but came out west for family ski trips and summer vacations. She returned here to a major in interior design at Colorado State University. Post-grad, she worked for Andrea Lawrence Wood, where she learned about designing resort properties, and then for Marianne Hall, whose contemporary minimalist design meshed well with Scott's true passion. But the mountains were calling, so she and her husband moved to Snowmass Village and later to Basalt. In 2001, she opened her own residential design firm, whose work is mostly centered in the surrounding mountain towns in the Roaring Fork Valley. I rented office space at an architect's firm in Aspen and basically knocked on the doors of the town's top architects and said, this is what I do. But her big break came after she remodeled her parents' mountain home in a modern style, winning multiple awards and capturing the attention of architect Harry Teague, who in turn referred her to the owner of the Sardi House, a landmark Aspen property, and she was off and running. Over the years, Scott has kept her firm small because she likes to work hand-in-hand with clients. I like a client who is willing to take risks and be open to new ideas, she says. And the more a client has dug deep thinking about their own needs and desires and is able to communicate them, the better the project. An artistic sensibility. When I was a child, my family did a lot of traveling in Europe, so I got to see a lot of historical architecture. My parents exposed me to art as well because my mom is a renowned artist. They also collected art, especially abstract expressionism pieces, so we went to a lot of galleries and museums. And one summer in college, I did a study abroad program in Italy. That really committed me to interior design. Standing out. I was fortunate enough that when I was starting out, my parents decided to buy a house in Snowmass Village, which I remodeled. The look I did was modern, and nobody was doing modern up here at that time. Everyone was doing Swiss chalet. It was refreshing and new, and I won 5 ASID awards for it. Suddenly, I had this great project to show around, and architects here were really excited to meet me. Behind door number 1 or door number 2? We always formulate 2 concepts that are a little bit different. One reflects a safer approach of things the client has seen and showed us. The other pushes them outside their comfort zone, providing new ideas they may not have thought of. The good thing is, given where I am in my career now, my clients trust me. So if I say, I really think you should try this great new idea, they are more willing to let me do it. Welcome to Colorful Colorado. I love designing for second homeowners because they see this as a kind of fantasy world. They want to have fun with their vacation homes here. Colorado people know how to balance their lifestyle. They're hard workers, but they enjoy the balance of the outdoor lifestyle, too. Troy Shimp, landscape designer, senior designer, Lifescape Colorado, Denver. Working the land is in Troy Shimp's blood. His father, grandfather, and great-grandfather were all farmers. Shimp himself spent his early years on a farm in Minnesota before moving to Colorado when he was 13. So it was only natural that after graduating from high school, he worked as both a gardener at a large private residence outside Fort Collins, mowing, irrigating, planting, pruning, and an installer for a couple of Colorado landscape companies. Still, it wasn't until a friend started taking landscape design courses at CSU, he says, that it all clicked. Shimp enrolled at CSU too, receiving his degree in horticulture, landscape design, and construction in 1998. After graduation, he was fortunate enough to work for Phil Steinhauer at Designscapes Colorado before going out on his own and then joining Lifescape 13 years ago. Today, Shimp says he likes to spend time walking a space and taking in the environment, looking for what he needs enhancing and what needs to be downplayed. You have to take in the whole picture of what the experience is going to be, how the space makes you feel when you are in it, and how it functions. Every project is like a new puzzle, both a mental and a physical puzzle, and that's why I love it. You start by putting a concept on paper, but paper is forgiving. Getting into the physical realm is different. It's like Central Park. You can look at Olmsted's original designs and find them amazing, but when you walk through Central Park, it's a whole new experience. Colorado's grand vistas are a constant inspiration, but Shimp prefers working on smaller scales. I favor intimate spaces, taking an area that seems relatively insignificant and transforming it into something that a client wasn't expecting is really satisfying. Creating spaces. As a kid, I enjoyed drawing, painting, and writing, and I had an innate desire to create spaces. My older brother and I spent hours building forts and carving out paths in the old groves of trees around our home. I would move the furniture in my room constantly and in any other room in the house if my mom would let me. Even now, I'm always tinkering with some sort of project and tearing something apart to make it better. Energy from synergy. I truly enjoy collaboration. When you work with a diverse team, the owner, architect, interior designer, builder, and landscape designer, there's this synergy and shared excitement that elevates the project to its fullest potential. You can't help but be energized by it. Native landscapes. This is not an easy place to grow a successful garden landscape. We have to work with the climate rather than against it and make smart water-wise choices because we have a role to play as conservationists too. This article must be interrupted due to time constraints. Thank you for joining us. for the March 2020 issue of Colorado Homes and Lifestyles magazine. My name is Jerry Gingras.
You've been listening to Colorado Homes and Lifestyles, where style comes home. If you enjoyed this program, please register for our free services at www.aftersight.org or by calling 303-786-7777.